Let's turn this off. I have in the room with me as well, Mr. James Hernandez. How are we doing, James? Can you hear me?
Hello, Ingram. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Very well. Very well. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for being back in the show. It's been a long time. We'll catch up with you in a moment. We've got on the line live now with us Uncle James Ali Bashir, former trainer of Alexander Usyk, and knows one or two things about boxing. Uncle Bashir, how's it going?
I have in the room with you as well.
Hold on.
James Hernandez. How are we doing, James? Can you hear me?
Great. Uncle, how are we doing? You see, can't hear you at the moment, Uncle. You have to speak up. You're in South Africa, so it could be a bit difficult for us to hear you. So keep speaking. Bit better. Bit better. Okay. You're good. Let's go. Let's do this.
Before that, I was in Ukraine. So, yeah, I'm settled down in the training camp now with Ruan Visser and Ivana Habazin here in the training camp with us. And we just sitting around like the knights at a round table.
Okay, obviously you saw the fight on Saturday. You predicted an Usyk win. Talk to us about that.
No, I didn't predict an Usyk win. I predicted a Usyk dominance.
Okay.
I said that Usyk would win the fight by unanimous decision, or he would win the fight by late TKO. So, you know, in other words, I predicted a dominant win. And that's what happened. I told everybody. And I'll tell you something else. Usyk is going to beat Bellew. He's going to beat White. He's going to beat Parker. He's going to beat all of those guys. Because I understand Usyk's secret ingredient. Nobody understands Usyk's secret ingredient like I do.
I was looking at the fight, and I was a bit disappointed in what Gassiev had to offer. He seemed like he didn't want to be there. As I was saying, explaining to James before the show started, Gassiev seemed to be like a gentleman that would rather be drinking vodka with his mates on Saturday night. He looked like he was pulled out of the audience and said, right, you've got to fight for the undisputed cruiserweight championship of the world now. You're going to fight Alexander Usyk. It's a bit tricky. Try and hit him as hard as you can. He didn't look like a guy. He didn't give me the impression of a guy that really wanted to be there or sensed the moment of being, the potential of being a guy of having all 4 belts around his waist.
What did I tell you before the fight? What did I tell you? That it doesn't make a difference. Why do you think Usyk goes into Russia? He won the title in Poland. He goes to Latvia to fight Breeders. He's just a different breed of fighter. And his mentality and his confidence and conditioning is what makes the difference.
See, I thought that the gap could have been closed by Gassiev's work rate, and also the fact that he was that much of a hard puncher, and Usyk was getting hit more often in fights. So I thought that could close the gap there. And of course, not having the sort of training he was getting under your expert tutelage, that would have closed the gap. And he did get tagged in the 5th round. And for me, Gassiev never followed up on that good work at any point in time. Now, that's down to Usyk's mastery in his class. But Gassiev, under Abel Sanchez, looked like a guy who was in a Rocky movie gone wrong. For round 4, he's like saying, show me something, show me something.
Abel Sanchez, in my mind, had no answers for Gassiev in that fight.
No.
I don't know whether it was a bad night or what, but he didn't have no answers for Gassiev in that fight. The same way he didn't have no answers for Golovkin versus Canelo Alvarez. And for that fact, he didn't have no answers versus Danny, what's his name? Danny
Jacobs.
Danny Jacobs. He had no answers. I mean, you know, he's got two power punchers, and that seems to be their investment. Their investment is in the power punching and not the logistics of lethal boxing. You know, in fact, I believe one time Garcia said to him that I don't know what to do. If I'm not mistaken, he said I don't know what to do. So I mean, please, you know, you everybody's dubbing and labeling trainers and this trainer and that trainer and this trainer and that trainer, and what do they bring into the dance? He shut Gassiev down.
He did.
He shut him down.
But why you say that? Gassiev's application was poor. He didn't even. Okay, you say he shut Gassiev down, but to me, Gassiev didn't even look like he wanted to be there. His body language was all wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, when a guy's body, like when you make and this is not making excuses, when you make a prediction for a fight, you expect a person who's fighting for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world to be at their very best, or at least try to be at their very best. And I thought a guy that he knew what Usyk was going to do, and he did time Usyk in the 5th round. I mentioned this to James earlier. He timed Usyk in the 5th round with a great shot, hurt Usyk. I thought, right, now he's found his man. He's found him. He's got the timing now, and he caught him with a beautiful shot. And then just sat back afterwards. I went back to square one all over again. So there was no, and he had moments in the fight, but he couldn't seem to lock it down and put more punches together. And even when he hurt Usyk, there was no urgency to try and follow up, because that was his big window, and he never took it. So that's why I said his attitude seemed to be all wrong.
Well, it's water under the bridge now, and I believe there was some mention about Garcia moving up and to the heavyweight division. I think that would be a fatal move for him, because he showed no positioning or no relevant stance that would give him longevity in the heavyweight division. He would get knocked out in the heavyweight division.
I remember him, Abel Sanchez, before this fight, was talking about how he was sparring with Wilder, and he was like, he'd put on 15 pounds and he'd be very effective.
Yeah, well, that to me that doesn't hold water. You know, it doesn't hold water. I think that he would be mashed out at heavyweight. I don't think that he would do very good at very heavyweight.
I think
I don't even know if his punching power would be as lethal at heavyweight.
That's something. That is something. The other thing is Mr. Bellew has been making noise. I guess he must figure, well, Usyk's not that big a puncher. I'd rather face him than a Wilder or any of the other heavyweights. So let me fight him instead.
You know, surprisingly, I have a lot of respect for Tony Bellew. I just think Usyk is a cut above most of the guys that's in the sport of boxing now, either at cruiserweight or heavyweight. I think he's just a cut above the rest. You know, I just think that, and I'm not saying that because I started him out. I'm not saying that because I initiated his professional career. I'm saying that because of what I know about Usyk. You know, I trained him for 3 years. I led him to the championship. We upset the record of Evander Holyfield. But I saw something in Usyk in those 3 years that most fighters haven't shown me in the last 25 years. You know, I have to go way back to the days of Matthew South Muhammad, Evander Holyfield, to find that kind of fire. And Usyk has it. He simply has it. And that's what makes him a cut above the rest of the people in boxing, whether it be cruiserweight or heavyweights.
He is an exceptional talent. There is no doubt. Alexander Usyk is an exceptional talent. You know, but the thing is, with Gassiev, like, it seemed a lot of pitter-patter punches, And look, Gassiev didn't even try and walk through him. So I don't know if they really were pitter-patter punches or they had some spite behind them. Only you would be able to tell us more about that.
What did you say?
The punches seemed very pitter-patter, like tap, 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 move, tap, 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 move, tap, 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 move, which was excellent. And it kept Gassiev off balance, which is what you do against a power puncher. But was it really pitter-patter? Or was that some real hard shots being put in there?
You know, Usyk has deceptive power. He punches well. It may look pitter-patter to us was getting hit, but apparently it neutralized what Gassiev wished to do or wanted to do.
Absolutely.
Or what Abel said, or what Abel said that wanted him to do. Something kept him at bay. So it was some power behind those punches.
Absolutely, because he was rocking his head back at times, Gassiev, and Usyk's punch power. He looked great. People question the fact that Usyk will be able to punch hard at heavyweight. Again, can you answer questions about that?
You got to remember that the heavyweights are much slower than cruiserweights. I think if Usyk comes into a heavyweight fight between the weight class of 215 and 218, he'll find his speed will be exceptional at heavyweight. And I think that there are a lot of guys out there that he could possibly be. Derek Chisora, Parker, Dillion White, Jarrell Miller. I think that he can hang out with those guys. I'm not saying that he can beat those guys, but I ain't saying those guys to beat him either.
Okay. Because
of his energy, because of his energy that gives him a chance. The same way you had a small guy in Maurice Harris. Maurice Harris can live amongst those heavyweights because of his boxing skills. This sport is not about power. Power is only part of this sport. For the most part, it boils down to who can box, and Usyk can box.
One final question before you disappear. Would you, I know this is on the spot, but would you consider taking Usyk back? Because I understand Usyk's had some problems with his trainer, and that's broken down, and Russ Sambar's there. Would you be prepared to take him back, or is the setup he's got at the moment one that you would not be interested in rejoining?
Boxing is a business, man.
So that answer is boxing is a business. That mean that if the terms and conditions are right, you would consider rejoining Usyk in his heavyweight campaign? Uncle? Are you there? Uncle's gone quiet. Uncle, you still there? First time Uncle Alish Bashir has been short of a word. Uncle, you there? Must be a connection thing. Uncle, you there? Hello? Looks like he's disappeared. You there, Uncle? Oh, he's gone.
I think Uncle will call us back in a minute. I'm going to bring James Hernandez into the room. James has been a long-term friend, somebody who started with me on the Boxing Hangout all those years ago. Sorry, James, I'm going to have to delay your return.
Uncle Bashir, you were saying?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You said boxing's a business.
Boxing is a business. If you look back on the career of the former Yankees manager, Billy Martin, they terminated Billy Martin, they brought him back. They terminated him again, and they brought him back again. So I think he was the manager for the New York Yankees on 3 occasions. Boxing is a business. You don't get involved with the emotions. Sometimes you click and sometimes you don't. However, I do think that I was the best trainer that Usyk has had thus far. You know, I think that our chemistry was above and beyond all of the trainers that he's had since then. I don't think nobody clicks with him such as he and I.
Okay. I also understand that you have a talent in the room with us as well.
Yes, I have the welterweight champion who I'm training here in South Africa, Ivana Habazin, and you know, and she's here. He can talk to you.
Ivana?
Hello.
Hello, Ivana. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm very good. Tell us where you're from.
I'm from Croatia.
Oh, congratulations. You beat us in the World Cup.
Yeah, thank you.
So you're with... Go ahead.
We almost won the World Cup.
You almost did, but you didn't. Yeah. Sorry.
What?
You almost did, but you didn't. We almost did as well.
Yeah. Judge make a mistake.
Yes, we did too. Well, talk to us about yourself. I believe you were former world champion. Am I correct?
Yeah, former IBF welterweight champion and current IBO middleweight champion.
Ooh, middleweight champion, nice. So you're with James Ali Bashir now. How have you connected with Uncle Bashir?
I think God connect us.
Okay, and how's it going?
If you ask me, great. If you ask coach, I don't know what he'll say.
Okay, no worries. So what are your plans now with coach? I know you're both in South Africa at the moment. What's the plans?
So 26 August, I'm gonna defend my title here in South Africa against Gifty Amanua from Ghana. But actually, my plan is to get a rematch with Cecilia Brækhus because welterweight is my natural division.
Okay.
So, but I going up because I'm waiting too long for Cecilia. So in welterweight doesn't have any fights because she has all titles. And the new challenge is in middleweight. Of course, there are Christina Hammer and Clarissa Shields. So one of my future plans is to beat both of them.
Christina Hammer and Clarissa Shields. That's the fight everyone's talking about. Who do you think wins that fight?
Yeah. Clarissa Shields gonna win.
Why?
She's positive crazy, you know, and I think she is better than this. Longer. Christina has a good technique, but I think Clarissa gonna win because in last fight you can see when Hannah Gabriels sent Clarissa down, Clarissa go back and won the fight.
Okay.
If I was in the place of Hannah Gabriels, I will not stop. I gonna finish her.
Okay. And let's talk about what's her name, Cecilia Brækhus. Your fight against her.
Yes.
Why do you think you can do better in the rematch against her?
I didn't. What? Why?
Why do you think you can do better against her in a rematch?
Why can I get a rematch?
No, why do you want a rematch with her?
Because I think I'm the best female fighter in the world. So actually, right now, she is the best female fighter because I don't have a chance to prove that. But now I have one of the best coach on the world, so I think we can beat her.
Okay, well, we look forward to hearing more from you, Ivana, as you develop with Uncle Bashir, and we look forward to seeing you fight in August.
Yeah, thank you.
You take care, Ivana. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Uncle, we'll leave you for it for now, and then we'll catch up with you again sometime during the week. How does that sound?
Okay, we look forward to it.
Okay, take care, Uncle. All the best.
Okay.
Take care.
Good night.
Good night.
So there we have it. Uncle Bashir with us from South Africa, giving us the latest news. Now, where's Mr. Hernandez? Are you there?
Hello, Ingram.
Hello, James. How are we doing?
Yeah, all good. All good. Love the questions there. You actually silenced James Ali Bashir there with the last question, which was pretty awesome. That was no mean feat to silence James Ali Bashir, man. Good work.
Right, great. For those people who don't know who you are, mate, you're a legend. So it's an honor to have you back on the show. You were with me when it all started out. So you can tell everybody who you are and what you do. The floor is yours, Mr. Hernandez.
Absolutely, yeah. It's good to reunite with yourself, Ingram. We done the first boxing hangout online before anyone else
Ever.
ever. The first ever boxing Google Hangout. We've done a couple of those. It went well. There was a few technical issues, but I'm glad to see the actual Google Hangout was a lot better now than it was about 4 years ago. We done the first one. When was the first one?
Absolutely.
It's a lot better now. It seems a lot more stable, does it not?
Absolutely. A lot more stable.
So yeah. So back on the boxing Hangouts. So, yeah.
Got a few more years since then. I mean, I remember we started that was 2012, 13.
Yeah, 12. Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, time flies.
Yes. It's almost 10 years.
But yeah, 10 years. But that's a long time. That's a lot of boxing as well. A lot of rounds of boxing.
I was in Grenada, and I'll tell you, Hay just knocked out Chisora.
Of course. Oh, that seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
It does. And guess what was happening then? The 2012 Olympics.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. Gosh.
A lot has happened. And I think I saw you last. I think we went together to see Derek Chisora sparring against what's his name? Ustinov.
And
Marius Vac. Remember that?
I remember that very well. Yeah, that was on the day of the Chisora Fury press conference or something, wasn't it?
It was also the day that Chisora got injured. Remember that thumb?
Yes. Were you in the gym when it happened?
We were both in the gym when it happened. But
we were, weren't we?
It happened. Yeah. That was when I think Marius Vac took things a bit. Not Marius Vac. Ustinov took things a bit literally, and he tried to be Tyson Fury. And he came forward and he had Chisora on the ropes. And he was pulling Chisora on the ropes, and Chisora leapt and threw a left hook at him. There was a story. Did you hear the story? Chisora knocked Ustinov out cold in sparring.
I did, yeah.
A bit brutal, wasn't
it? Something lost in translation, I reckon. Just take it easy. Just take it easy, and they just went full on beast mode.
So okay, so what are you doing now with yourself?
Just watching the boxing, really. Not a lot. Just taking it easy. Just watching the boxing.
I know that you were doing something when you went off and did your thing.
Like the boxing. Yeah, it's done some boxing writing as well. So that was all good.
And how did you find it?
How did I find it? It was good, although it did take some of the enjoyment out of watching the boxing, just as a fan, if you know what I mean. As you're almost like I've got to mention this, I've got to do that, I've got to do this. Whereas it takes some away of the enjoyment of being a pure boxing fan, of just sitting down with your mates and watching the fight, making comments here and there, and also jumping on with you and talking about boxing. But as in terms of then sitting down and writing about it, you've then got to put some thought behind it, and then it becomes a bit of it becomes. I don't know. As I say, it takes a bit of enjoyment out of it, a little bit, but it is I do admire all the boxing writers out there. It's a very good thing to do.
I always called you the voice of boxing for the UK, and I still believe that as well.
The new Steve Bunce.
No, please no.
Your mate Bunsey.
Yeah, my mate Bunsey. Yes. Steve, you watching? Much love to you.
Oh, thanks.
The Do It for Free Brigade. Remember that?
Of course, do it for free. Absolutely. Anytime, any place.
Oh dear. Okay, let's talk some boxing. Like I said, Gassiev looked like a guy who'd been pulled out the arena, who was drinking some vodka with his mates in Russia, and somebody said to him, "Oi, listen, you look tough and you look strong enough. Go beat that Usyk up." That's what he looked like.
It sounds laughable when you say it, but when you watch the fight, yeah, you're right. He just kept plodding forward with seemingly no game plan. Yes, he was game. Yes, he had heart, but every time he was just plodding forward without letting his hands go at all. It just it didn't look right to me.
What I expected to see that. I expected Usyk to be on his bike and moving and using, all that stuff, the muscles, all that was expected. And I've learned one thing in boxing, a new thing in boxing I've learned when making predictions. There's some things you can't predict. You can't predict a fighter's mindset. You can't predict the referee. Those are key elements that you bring into any prediction, because we normally say, well, A will beat B, and we have an idea of why A and B, where A will beat B or B will beat A. We have an idea about that. But what I'm learning now also about the sport, which is easy to say in hindsight, oh yeah, Usyk would have won that fight easy. In hindsight, mentality, big fight mentality. I thought people say, well, oh, look at the Doctius fight where he knocked out Doctius. And he was behind him, he was being outboxed then. People said, oh, well, you could see that fight was being outboxed, so of course Usyk was going to outbox him. But my answer to people was, he was getting outboxed, but what was the end result? A brutal knockout. And so I figured, I had in my mind, look, Usyk is a very, very, very good boxer. He's a masterful boxer. And I said that. There's nothing wrong with Usyk's boxing ability. I mean, he's top class. But I also thought that Gassiev was a top class puncher. Not only a top class puncher, he was able to track guys down and able to finish them off in brutal fashion. This guy was laying guys out flat. He was knocking guys out. So I'm thinking to myself, Usyk's a guy who's getting caught with lots more punches now, and Gassiev doesn't need any excuses to hit you on the chin. So with that combination, that's what people expect in such a great fight. But Gassiev just didn't seem to turn up. He just didn't turn up at all. So I don't know if that's a weak mentality. So when he got tagged in the fifth round, so like, yeah, or the fourth or fifth, like, yes.
Fourth and yeah.
Yeah, he's caught him. So I thought, that's the opportunity. He's timed him now. He'll do it again. And then work the body more, close the range down, and try and take him out of there. If not, try and, put force pressure on Usyk. Didn't see that. He kind of hurt him, and then looked at him as if to say, oh, that was a good punch.
Yeah, it was odd. It was very odd. And it was a disappointing fight, wasn't it? Going into the fight, we all thought that'd be a 50-50 fight. I did. I thought we were going to see a fight for the ages, but it ultimately disappointed by Gassiev by not turning up. I don't think he turned up at all. If I was Gassiev, I would be disappointed. Very disappointed with that display. But maybe he did fell well short, because obviously Usyk is an elite level fighter. He's now the undisputed unified world champion in 15 pro fights.
Absolutely,
obviously a gold medalist, and he's an elite level fighter. And it was a totally masterful display, as you say. But it wasn't much. It was all one-sided, wasn't it? All the punch output was coming from one man and one man alone. I think I gave Gassiev one round out of one round. I could legitimately give him as a clear winning round. So it was disappointing. And it was interesting questions about moving up to heavyweight now. Does he, as you touched on with your interview with James Ali Bashir, does he have the punch power to be a world champion, a two-weight world champion at heavyweight? For me, there's question marks remains over his punch power. I don't know if he can step up and do that at heavyweight with the big hitters. Do you?
Short arms. I mean, we have heavyweights in the past who've had short arms and short squat fighters. and have caused knockouts. Mike Tyson being obviously the obvious one to that, but I don't. While Gassiev is a big puncher, and explosive at cruiserweight, I'm not so sure if he'll be that explosive at heavyweight, and he's slow on his feet as well.
Mm.
Or Wilder. What do you think?
It's hard to say. I know you'd like me to give an opinion, but it is very hard to say. It's without doubt that he will move up to heavyweight, because that's where the money fight will be for him. He's achieved all what he can achieve as being a unified champion of the world at cruiserweight. He will move up without a doubt, and I think that a fight. I mean, I'm thinking Usyk and Bellew would be actually a very good fight. That will be a good acid test for Usyk in stepping up to heavyweight, because I don't think Usyk would have the power to actually hurt Bellew at all, to be honest with you, at all. And I think with the ferocity of the punch power what Bellew has, that could be an interesting fight.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that would be a competitive fight. I think ultimately, though, Usyk would have too much boxing skills for him, and he would probably outbox Bellew. But I think Bellew would more than make a fight of it, without a doubt.
Are we overestimating Bellew based on the two David Haye fights and cruiserweight, or are we underestimating Tony Bellew?
I suppose you could overestimate those two performances with a David Haye that was shot, born and shot effectively, wasn't he?
Yep.
So yeah, I suppose you could, but Tony Bellew's is got the biggest heart in boxing, and he would give anyone a fight, and that would be an interesting fight for me. I'm not saying Bellew wins, but I'm saying Bellew could make a good fight of that and give a real stern test to Usyk as a measure for being successful at heavyweight.
I think that Bellew will be the gatekeeper at heavyweight for Usyk.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I think.
Gatekeeper. Correct. Gatekeeper, correct. Yeah.
So Bellew's going to be the guy. Bellew's the guy at the front door of the heavyweight division with his hands on his hips, saying, "I carry power."
Absolutely, and he does. And he does, yeah.
That's a super fight, cash out fight for me, for Bellew.
That's a good, yeah. That sells, doesn't it? That'll be pay-per-view fight.
Yeah, that's a pay-per-view worthy fight.
Absolutely, yeah. It's easy in hindsight to say a fight isn't pay-per-view afterwards, but
it is.
You put everything down on the table for the fight, then it ticks a lot of boxes.
Yeah. What I think is very interesting is the World Boxing Super Series. I think it is cleaning up the boxing divisions. I think it's giving us more clarity as who the best in the world is.
Yes.
That.
And that should be applauded for that, without a doubt. It's getting the best to fight the best. And as boxing fans, that's what we want to see.
Absolutely. Is it fair to say that is it Kelly Sauerland who's behind the World Boxing Super Series?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Well, it would be fair to say that he would be the best promoter in the world at the moment.
You could say that, yeah.
I mean, he's genuinely trying to make the best fights in the world happen, and the best fighters in the world happen. So I would say he would be considered the best promoter in the world at this point.
I suppose you could. Absolutely, yeah. I couldn't disagree with that, yeah. He seems to be enjoying it. He's a big boxing fan himself, and he's putting on amazing shows.
Epic. I mean, the final was quite epic. The way they had the two guys going to the ring and all that. That was absolutely epic. It was a showpiece for boxing.
Without a doubt. And I think we'll get a showpiece for boxing in the for George Groves. If he's fit and for the final for the World Series super middleweight.
I'm hearing it's going to be September now. If it's in September, Georgia has more time to recover, right?
Absolutely, and that's a showpiece final event, isn't it?
It is. It is. George goes without injury, fights Callum Smith. Who wins?
George Groves.
I've always gone Groves by knockout.
Yeah.
I've always gone that way. But George Groves with injury to shoulder.
I would. George Groves on points. I think George Groves is probably too streetwise. He's probably got far too much experience to lose that fight, for me anyway.
If you're Canelo and you've just watched Usyk outbox Gassiev, you've seen Jacobs cause Golovkin problems. You yourself, Canelo, have boxed Golovkin in the first fight. Does that give you confidence going into a rematch against Golovkin, knowing that the same trainer that's trained Gassiev with a similar style, you're going to be facing in Golovkin, in how to beat him?
But how much is going to change? How much would have changed?
Between Golovkin and Canelo. Well, how much would have changed? Age. We still don't know how much that first fight took out of Golovkin. Second, I don't think Golovkin gets any better at the age that he's at.
Yeah. How old is Golovkin now?
He's 36, is he now?
36, yeah. 36, yeah.
It's interesting.
Last thing to go is the punch power, though.
You've still got to catch the guy, though, haven't you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, timing.
It is, absolutely. Let's move on to another topic. I want to talk about, somebody brought it up to me today, I think it was DJ Slick, regarding this Dave Allen situation. Somebody said to me, what do you think of Dave Allen? Last week he was retired. This week he's been thrown in against Nick Webb. Have you seen Nick Webb box before?
No, I haven't, no.
Well, that's me neither. I've never seen Nick Webb. I think I might have seen Nick Webb box
maybe
once. But
how long is I mean, the last I heard, as everyone else, I guess, it was Dave Allen was retired. I haven't heard he's been retired like me, I think.
The thing is, I mean, as you know, I've known Dave for many years, and I've seen Dave retire off of Twitter and come back, retire off of Twitter and come back. So I don't know.
But we're not calling this one a comeback, right?
Well, if he beats Nick Webb, then he's in position for he's a British title eliminator. So if he beats Nick Webb, then what does he do? Retire and go out in that fight, or does he go and fight for the British title?
He's got to go in for the British title, isn't he? He's got to carry on.
So I don't know. I just think people saying, "Oh, what do you think about Eddie Hearn throwing Dave Allen under the bus?" I don't look at it that way. Dave Allen it's
an opportunity, isn't it?
Well, he's big enough. He's old enough. He knows what he's doing. He knows the risks of the sport. Dave is a smart enough lad. So I don't know who's advising Dave behind closed doors. I said to him before the Richard Towers fight, I said, mate, they're going to use you as a journeyman. They're intending. And that's when he was unbeaten, before he fought the Frenchman. I said, they're going to use you. Listen to me, son. I said, they're going to use you as a journeyman. Mark my words, they're going to use you as a journeyman unless you take control of your career. And obviously, the people around him kind of looked at me, or whoever was advising Dave at the time, will say, he's talking rubbish, don't worry about Ingram. Well, look what's happened now. Time always tells, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Do you think Dave Allen, do you think that's within Dave Allen to come back and to be a British champion again?
I don't know. He had the 2 fights at Commonwealth level. He had that fight against Joker. He fought Ortiz. He fought Dillion White. I don't know with certain fighters where they're just accepted, happy to just pick up, fight as best they can, pick up the paycheck. Because the thing is Dave Allen getting the opportunity to improve his skill level? I mean, it's okay having all these fights, but is he getting the opportunity to improve his skill level? I mean, first of all, we've got to be honest and say, how good a boxer is Dave Allen?
Mm.
And then, is his career being managed right? There are two people's careers in boxing today which I think have been dreadfully managed. Dave Allen and David Price. Two guys who I think could have had different careers had they been managed correctly.
That's an interesting one.
Well, David Price, first of all, why did he go and fight Tony Thompson? Tony Thompson wasn't a mandatory. It wasn't forced on Price. But Price, I remember it specifically. I think we were still... Price was... Tyson Fury was going to fight Cunningham. And Price was like, they were competing against one another. And that was when Maloney was walking around saying, oh, Fury's ducking Price.
Mm.
So Fury went on to fight Cunningham to move himself up the world ratings. But they wanted to get higher than Fury, so they went and took the Tony Thompson fight on.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
But why fight Tony Thompson? He was a southpaw. Price has struggled with a southpaw in the amateurs. I actually said that I thought Audley would have beaten Price at the time. People laughed at me, and I understand why they laughed at me. But it was a southpaw that turned around in the end, that turned around and knocked him out. And the southpaw was tricky. Southpaw was all wrong for Price. So what did they do?
He fought a southpaw again. Another southpaw, yeah.
And then they dragged Lennox Lewis up, who two of his fighters got knocked out that he'd been training. And they bring Lennox Lewis in, who'd never fought a southpaw in his professional career, to advise Price in how to deal with a southpaw in Tony Thompson. The best advice I would have given Price is stay away from Tony Thompson.
Yeah.
Thompson wasn't a world champion. He wasn't going to be a world champion, not while Vlad was around. So they should have avoided that fight. They should have done a swerve and gone and fought somebody else and rebuild Price. But after they did that, what did they go and do? Stuck him in fights that he was going to get knocked out in. It was terrible.
Do you think David Price will be remembered as a hype job? As a man that had no chin, that couldn't take a punch?
I think David Price will be, for me, he will be remembered as a guy that was badly managed.
But if the management point is valid, but if he was good enough, surely he would have blown away a Tony Thompson if he was good enough.
Well, you tell me who had blown Tony Thompson away at that time. He was number two in the world. He was number 2 in the world at the time, and he took Vladimir Klitschko, I think 11 rounds the first time round and five rounds the second time round, and that was Vladimir Klitschko, prime Vladimir Klitschko.
Was peak.
Vladimir Klitschko,
yeah, Vlad, yeah.
So when you're talking about Price, you can call him a hype job now. Everyone's real smart after the event, but I can assure you, there are people that have been on this chat. Let's take it back to when Price had just blown away Matt Skelton, and Tony Bellew was outside commentating. What did he say? David Price is the next heavyweight champion of the world. Remember all that talk?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Oh, Price should fight Klitschko tomorrow. Remember all that talk? Price was good enough until he got clipped by Tony Thompson. Right?
Yeah.
So people are boxing's an unforgiving sport, and people have amnesia. They forget about when Price was blowing everyone away. And I would say at the time, let's hold a second and let's give him some more learning fights. So Price, in between him fighting Tony Thompson, who was a legitimate heavyweight contender, so he jumped from fighting Matt Skelton and Audley Harrison to Tony Thompson.
There's a massive jump, yeah, completely.
That's a massive jump.
Yeah.
And I don't think, and his manager at the time wasn't as stable as he could have been. He was having a heart attack. Remember Maloney was having a heart attack, and he was panicking all the time Price was fighting. He was hardly the kind of guy that gave Price confidence. Price needed a camp and a team that was confident behind him. And technically, there were things he could have done. I think had Price, after the Skelton fight, had gone to the Klitschko camp and worked with Klitschko, I think we would have seen a different Klitschko, a different Price.
those two Tony Thompson defeats really haunted him, didn't they? Really?
Of course they did. There are guys in heavyweight boxing who didn't have the greatest chins, but they still went on to be a heavyweight champion of the world. Michael Moore, every time he touched Michael Moore, he went down, but he still went on and became heavyweight champion of the world. He was well managed. Well managed. That's why George Foreman was in a rush to fight Michael Moore. People might know the history between Michael Moore and George Foreman, but George Foreman was watching Michael Moore when he got dropped by Burt Cooper, and he got dropped by quite a few guys. And Foreman was like, I'll knock this guy out. All I need to do is land one. I just need to land one right hand on this guy's chin, and that's it.
And that's it.
Foreman was saying it. Say that?
Yes, I'm still there. Yeah, still there.
It's all matchmaking. So,
I suppose ultimately with being badly managed, you would have there's a valid point of saying Pricey was badly managed, because today looking back at that whole situation, you could say that Price had a very, in terms of time, had a small window of opportunity to become the world champion in one of the sanctioning bodies, and that's now gone. I don't think Price will ever come back and be a world champion today. Do you? I can't see it. He's very much yesterday's man. Sadly.
David Price is what I call, he was social media managed. He was managed. All these guys that say, well, he's knocked a few guys over, he should be fighting against the elite fighters. There was no stage where Price's career was built. His career was not built. He didn't have a built career. You fight the guys you meant to knock over, then you have the testing fights. You have testing fights that are going to test you. You don't jump from fighting Matt Skelton to fighting the second best heavyweight in the world. You just don't do that. You build yourself up gradually, fighting fights, improving on technique. Price didn't do that. Price could jump from, domestic level straight into world class. He wasn't ready for that. Some guys can do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's about matchmaking. And a lot of
the
business of matchmaking by a lot of guys are forgotten. That you watch it. Look at this guy, Ryan Garcia. He's a perfect example of Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is what I call internet sensation. He's got fast hands and people love him for that. And then he's looking to go and fight someone like Gervonta Davis, who will murder him. He's got no defense.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I suppose it's better to be called a dodger. You'll avoid those fights, but that's wise management, is it not?
Absolutely. When the time comes, you fight. Just duck and dive and stay to the side. That's what you do. That's smart management. You're trying to prove a point to the YouTube fans, because they're going to end up slaughtering you anyway.
Yeah,
they're going to slaughter you anyway. So you let them slaughter you, but still keep your career managed. Just manage your career and take the fights at the right time. And Christ is one of those guys who did not take the fights at the right time.
No, not that.
So, like with Dave Allen, there was no need for him to fight Dillion White. There was definitely no need for him. When he fought Luz Ortiz, he had 10 or 11 fights versus the guy who had X amount of amateur fights and pro fights. Do you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Unreal. Unbelievable, unreal. Anyway.
It's crazy when you think about it, isn't it? When you lay it all down and look at it and analyze it in detail, it's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy. So I would say, for Dave Allen, I would have asked the promoter. I'd say, okay, so what actually is the vision for this guy? What's the vision for Dave Allen? What is the vision? What do you want to do with him? Are you looking at this guy? Do you think he's British level? Do you think he's European level? Do you think he's world level? Okay, if you think he's British level, what are we going to do? Are we going to feed him 4 or 5 fights to get him ready to prepare for a British title? Okay, you think he's going to go on before beyond British level? Okay, no, you think he'll go on to European level? Okay, so let's get him 4 or 5 fights. Let's sell it. Let's make him a big ticket seller. Let's make him a massive ticket seller. Let's build him with the crowd. I remember saying to Dave a while back, I remember before he fought the Frenchman, I said, Dave, what you need to do is get yourself with a local football team. whether it be, I mean, he's Sheffield way. So get yourself, with the Sheffield football team. So when you fight, you've got the football team behind you. The Leeds Rhinos or the Sheffield Rhinos or whatever. Just get yourself behind a football team. Just like how Josh Warrington's got that. Get that
with
support
with Leeds United, yeah.
Yeah, get that support behind you. Get with a football team. I remember saying to him, get yourself a football team behind you. Build your following. And so therefore,
even if you don't like football.
Yeah, the bigger following you've got, and this is before a lot of the people now on these YouTubers started joining the channel. When Dave was struggling to sell tickets, selling 5 and 6 tickets at a time. So there are ways that you can cover up a guy's limitation by putting him with guys that make him look good. That has been the case. That's the mistake about boxing. That's what they did in the old days. They put guys in with guys that made them look good. But Mike Tyson is the greatest advertisement or PR was ever done in boxing. Bill Caton and his team did a fantastic job with Tyson. They said, listen, we don't care who Mike is fighting, and nor should the fans. All they need to see is this guy knocking guys out.
It was all about the KO, yeah.
It's all about the KO. And that built this monster in boxing, which was then Mike Tyson. Mike could fight a bit as well, of course.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That was the image that was painted. They did the right thing. Those are guys that did management. They did it great. You know what I mean?
Of course, yes.
So that's what made Mike, if you look at the beginning of his career, so breathtaking when people looked at him. Look at Gennady Golovkin. Similar thing. He was going for a whole lot of guys, knocking guys out. You remember all that? When all those knockouts?
Oh, yes. Yes, that was...
Golovkin's a devastating puncher. Golovkin hits as hard as heavyweights.
Yes.
And then he hit a brick wall against guys who can take his power and then maneuver him around the ring. It starts becoming a different proposition. That illusion disappears. No promoter wants the illusion of their fighter to be destroyed. No promoter.
No.
So,
yes. And sadly,
boxing.
Price, he didn't have that. David Price didn't have that, did he?
Because
that good management. So,
what was the vision again? What was the vision for David Price? Why were they fighting Tony Thompson?
Because they thought David Price would be a future world champion, and you would guess that they thought Tony Thompson was just a gatekeeper to bigger and better things on going on to Klitschko. That was the plan, wasn't it? They were talking about Klitschko, weren't they?
Yeah, but they fought a guy that was all wrong for Price from the start. Price never looked good again. It was never good against Southpaws.
Do you think 9 times out of 10, David Price boxing Tony Thompson, doesn't matter where it was, 9 times out of 10 he would lose 9 times out of 10?
Yes, because of the type of guy Thompson was.
Yeah.
Wily old fox, good chin, plenty of heart. Wily old fox, experience, been around the block. Keep away from him. That fight was what they call today in today's boxing, high risk, low reward. Say he gets beat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That didn't do him any favors. He should have avoided that fight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then you've got the flips. You've got the other side of it where a fighter, people draw to a fighter not because he can fight any good, but he's just got a great personality. And he's got an interesting story. That's another reason why people will buy tickets. Or the guy might be a great fighter, but he's got great personality, and people feel some sort of connection to them.
Of course.
I want to see him fight. I want to see him do well.
And it's that, of course, if he's a local lad, you want to get it behind, and he's likable as well. You can build a fan base of that. But that only takes you so far, doesn't it? Yes, it may sell your tickets, but that'll only take you so far, depending on the level of the boxer, doesn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely. But
I suppose a good example of that is someone you mentioned, Josh Warrington. who's got a massive following in Leeds, and is boxed at Ellen Road, isn't he?
There you go. That's it.
And that's a good example of a local lad done well and get behind a local lad.
Well managed. Well
managed. Yeah.
He's got the local area behind him. He's got the football team behind him. Now world champion.
And now world champion. Yeah. That's, you can't ask any more than that. Really.
His personality might be, he might not have the greatest personality, but he relates to the people of the community, and that's all you want. So
that's what you want. Yeah.
Being a completely outgoing personality, everything else he ticks the boxes on.
Yeah. all day long.
Absolutely. So let's talk. We've got Dillion Whyte versus Joseph Parker this weekend.
Yes, looking forward to that.
How do you see it?
I think Parker wins. For me, I'm taking Parker on points, unanimous. UD. I think Dillion will come out all guns blazing, but I think Parker is got too much for him, to be honest.
Okay.
I think he's more streetwise. He's a bit more savvy than Dillion. Yes, I'd love to see the British fighter win, but in all the last few fights I've seen Parker, I'm impressed. I like Parker. He can box and he can bang as well. I think Dillion Whyte is a bit erratic at times, and for me that's a points win for the away fighter, if you like, in Joseph Parker. You're going to say Dillion, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Are you going 50-50 fight? That is I suppose it is a 50 fight.
I'm not sure. I don't know, because I still, when I go back and I look at the Joseph Parker fight, I'm still against Joshua. I've still got that question mark. The biggest fight of your career, and you couldn't dig in and try and pull out all the stops. The excuses of the referee and all the rest of
the referee wasn't great, was he?
Yeah, but when you're fighting for the heavyweight championship, the championship rounds, he didn't put his foot down and say, right, I'm having this. There was almost like right, I'll get to points. I didn't get knocked out. I'll be back again soon. It was almost as if there was a whisper in his ear and say, all right, mate, look, even if you just do the 12 rounds, you'll be back again. You can fight Dillion Whyte. What it sounded like.
Do you think he did?
I hate to be skeptical like that, but he didn't seem to have that. You're fighting. This was an opportunity for him to turn boxing on its head when he fought Joshua. And he didn't fight like me, like a guy who wanted to take the fight by the horn and change things around. He just seemed like a guy who was just going to allow things to happen rather than make things happen.
Yes, he's a very conservative fighter, isn't he? He
like the gloves are off. It seemed like Dillion Whyte was hosting the show.
Oh yes,
because he was basically telling Parker, "Well, I can't answer the question then. Answer the question then."
Yeah,
he wasn't good. If Dillion Whyte is able to control Parker in the same way that he's able to control him in conversation in the boxing, it's not a good look for Parker.
It's not. No.
So I expect Dillion to land more body shots than Joshua did.
Well, now Joshua couldn't stop Parker. Can Dillion stop Parker?
They throw their punches differently, though, don't they?
They do, but do you think Dillion can stop Parker? I personally, I don't.
Remember, Joshua was very much off the back foot in that fight. He was looking to safety first. I don't see Dillion Whyte being a safety first fighter.
No, he's not. No, he's definitely not.
So the same reason why I think Dillion Whyte can win this fight is the same reason why I think Dillion Whyte can lose this fight. Engagement.
Yeah.
He'll be willing to engage, but by him engaging is the same reason why. The reason why Joshua didn't engage are the reason why Dillion Whyte will engage, and the result could well be different.
Yes.
You see, because you're taking that chance, you're now, instead of you just boxing to a points win or just being conservative, you're putting yourself in a danger zone to get hit. But you also put yourself in a position to get yourself in a position to hit and hurt the opponent.
Of course.
Now, I want to know if Dillion catches Parker early with something hard, whether Parker's going to walk through that and keep coming, or he's going to revert back to Parker we saw against Joshua and happy to just get to points.
I don't think Parker will believe himself open to get done with a banger early on. I really don't.
That's it. So he's going to be evasive like he was.
He's going to be evasive. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. But
so is that the best Parker can do then? Is that the best Parker?
It probably is. I would say so. I can't see there's much more to come from him other than being that type of fire that we've seen in that performance against Joshua.
Yeah, that's interesting.
What did you rate? How did you rate Parker's performance against Huey Fury?
I was commentating. I personally felt that I said that the only thing that Parker's leaving this arena with is his trouser belt. That's what I said, right? Yeah. And I told it to his face when I did the interview. I said to his face, I said, "Look, mate, I think you won that fight, straight up.
Yeah,
I think you won the fight. In fact, you haven't looked good. You didn't look good against Fury. You didn't look good against Ruiz.
No, they didn't. No,
against Joshua. So I just wondered if Parker's found his level, 1, or 2, his trainer, Kevin Barry, can't offer him any more in training camp. Those questions to ask.
Of course, yeah. They're good questions. Yeah, those are the questions.
What do you think?
Time will tell. And those are the questions that will be posed and to be asked. Personally, I don't see Parker being a world champion now over Joshua. No, I don't know. I think that is as good. Personally, I think that's as good as we'll see. Parker, unless I'm proved totally wrong on Saturday, and he knocks Dillion White out. But I don't see it. Do you? I don't think he's I don't think he punches hard enough, and he seems to just wants to coast through a lot of rounds, but does seems to put combinations together to try and catch the eye of the judges when he just goes through to a points down to the judge's decision for a points decision.
I want to see Dillion working the body. He's going to have to, for me, he's got to engage. He can't sit on the back foot and box. He's got to engage.
And knowing Dillion White, he will do that. I think that's safe to say. He will do his utmost to engage.
People are saying that my audio is low. I don't know why they're thinking my audio is low. Is my audio low? Can you hear me?
I can hear you okay. Yeah, I suppose it is a little bit low, but I can hear you fine. Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Is this better, people? People can hear me. Is that better? I've got people in the room. Going to get a massive shout out to IQ Boxing Academy. I don't know if that's Errol Jarrett that's there or actually Xavier Miller. Shout out to IQ Boxing Academy. We've got some great fights coming out of the gym there. They're doing some fantastic work there. So shout out to them. IQ Boxing Academy says, I think this is going to be a really good fight. Both Parker and White are going to go for it. Xavier, those people who haven't seen it already, please check out IQ Boxing Academy on our channel. We did some videos with them. And check out IQ Boxing Academy's trainer, Xavier. Check him out. Very good trainer. Up and coming. And shout out to Xavier. Also, it's nice seeing you in the room, Xavier, by the way. And of course, the lovely Beverly Rose Boxing and Entertainment. Cheers. Parker will box White Ingram.
I agree with that. Yeah, I'm with Beverly on that one. Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
Interesting. People still say my volume is low, and I'm not sure why they're saying that. Sometimes people say things, and I'm not sure if it's true what they're saying or not. Xavier, if you could let me know, or Beverly, let me know if my voice is still loud or not. Del Boy, where's my shout out? All right, Del Boy, here's your shout out. Yes, Del Boy, there's your shout out. Mark Stanton in the room as well. SJS 1690, shout out to you. A bit low, but can hear you. Low. People are saying it's low. I don't know why they're saying it's low. Let me see what I can do here, because this is. I'm getting rid of this damn microphone. I'm going to do a review on it as well. Blasted microphone. Let's try something else here. Let's see what we can do here with this microphone. Let's go back to the old.
Which microphone are you using, Ingram?
Let's try this one. Can people hear me better on this microphone? Can you hear me now? Is that any better? Is that any better, people? Let me hear. That's better. Great. We'll take this microphone off. Yes, great. Well, that's it. We're done with that microphone. This microphone is done. I think people have told me about this microphone before. Damn microphone. Get rid of it. It's getting reported as well. It's people check it out. It's the LD System D1013C. Somebody said to me before, this microphone causes hell. Did I just uninstall my camera? I bet I did. But I just installed my camera. Let me see here. Yeah, I uninstall my camera. What a muppet. There we go. Give me a second, people. I'll be back with you. James, keep talking while I get this camera back up. James, can you hear me?
Hello, Ingram.
Great. Great. Don't know why it's frozen like that, but
yeah, my connection is freezing a little bit. I might have to move.
Yeah, my connection, my camera's frozen. I don't know why my camera's frozen like that. Very odd.
Frozen in time, Ingram.
Frozen in time. Yes, the curse of Google Hangout. It's come back. It's you, James. You brought the curse of Google Hangout back.
I have. Let it be.
Trust you. You say, "Oh yeah, Google Hangout's doing great, mate. It's doing fine.
It's doing fine.
Connection's brilliant." Yes, James.
Oh.
He goes, he says, thanks, better, but the visuals are messed up. I think the visuals is clear from my end. I am beginning to wonder. Uninstall Norton Ingram. I am convinced of two things. Two things I'm convinced of. First of all, that it's very odd. I don't know why this is. And I'll have to look into this a bit more. This Windows 10 is doing my nut. Every time you get Windows 10, it's always updating and installing. So, and from the picture I get on my site, it's clear as day. Picture it's not clear as day. Where did you get the USB mic from? I got it actually. People recommended it. The LD Systems. Look it up, people. It's trash. LD Systems, right? D1013C. Well, it's gone now. That's the end of it. It's the end of it. I'll have to just get another microphone. We'll get there. Don't buy that. Beverly's still got that 1993 webcam. Beverly, do you want to jump in the room, by the way? Just want to ask a question. You need a sound card for it, bro. I don't need a sound card for it. I just need a damn new microphone. Yes, you need to uninstall the Windows updates and stop them. That's what I did to be able to tune it. Yeah, it's absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. So yeah, anyway, enough of the technical stuff. James, you still there?
Yo, bro, how are you?
I'm good. So you were saying we'll talk about Dillion White and Joseph Parker. James?
Hello, Ingram. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're not responding.
Okay, give me 2 minutes. I'm just going to move location. Just give me 2 minutes. I think
okay,
it's
cool.
a bad look. Yeah, I'll be back in 2 minutes. Cool.
Okay. So I'll keep talking. Who else is fighting on that card, by the way? We've got Dillion White. We got Dave Allen. Let's see what else people are talking. You're not supposed to handhold those mics. Need a pop stand or shield, or they sound like garbage. Yeah, I understand that, but what I'm trying to explain to you as well is that it's not a very good microphone anyway. Chisora versus Takam, is that on the same night? Right. Chisora versus Takam. Well, I don't know what to think of that fight because I want to see the sort of shape Chisora's in. I want to see. I know Takam always comes in great shape. I'm backing Takam for that fight. I just think he's a quality fight, better quality fighter. The fight I'm more interested in is Ben's rematch against that Paynord guy. James, are you there? James, are you all right?
Hi, Ingram. Yeah, I'm still there. I just need to move a bit closer to the wireless router for the internet.
The old days are back again, James.
I know. It's like some kind of like hangout curse. Does it? I think it's just me. Is it?
No, it could be both of us. I think it's Google's way of saying screw the pair of you.
I've really enjoyed being back though with you. It's been really good fun.
Well, it's always been fun. It's never not been fun, mate.
Oh, that's true. I'll
yeah, you just. England will have to do a fight prediction stream sometime this week. Yeah, we'll have to.
Yeah, I'll be up for that.
James was ordering the same microphone of Amazon. Hey, James, listen, I've got a microphone you should order of Amazon, mate.
Oh, cool. Can you send me over the link for it?
Yeah, I will do it. It's called the D1013C.
D1013C. Okay, I've made a note of that.
Yeah, don't order it.
Can I ask how much we're looking at?
Well, I think this one cost me. I think it cost me £80.
Oh, okay. That doesn't break the bank. So yeah, that's
no, it doesn't break the bank, but don't buy it.
Oh, okay.
Don't buy it.
Okay.
It's like a no, avoid. I will get another microphone. I will get another microphone. I'll have to talk to the BWTM people and get them to get me a damn new microphone. It's not on. Right, let's talk. So Nigel Benn's son, his other son, Conor Benn is back. Did you see the first fight? James? James, are you there? Is your camera in HD? Yes, my camera is HD. It has been HD. I don't know what's going on today, though. It's not HD at the moment. Because that's what the camera looks like at the moment. But the camera is HD. I think it might just be a connection issue here, guys. So we're talking about Conor Benn. James, what are you doing? James, what are you doing, mate? James.
Hello, is that better? I think I've got a better connection now.
Well, you sound pretty clear from where I'm hearing.
Oh, good. Okay, that's good.
Right, can you hear what I'm saying to you?
No, I didn't hear what you said. No, can you repeat it, please? Sorry.
I feel sorry for people listening to us tonight. They must think we're a bunch of proper jokers. Right. James, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, James. You still in Norwich, by the way?
I am, yeah.
Do you still bump into, what's his name? What's the guy's name? Alan Partridge.
Aha, yes.
Aha, that's it, exactly. So we were talking about Nigel Benn, Conor Benn. Yeah. Yes, Pekadeka. I was trying to get Beverly on the show, but Beverly's cooking at the moment. Beverly, when you finish cooking, do you want to come on the channel? Conor Benn will look a different fighter this time. He needs to be. Ingram is the Don, but the other guy I have concerns, says Del Boy. James. They've got doubts about you.
Oh, that's good.
No doubt. You're gonna have to answer those critics, James.
What's the question?
The question is the question. They've got doubts about your capabilities online.
Oh gosh, that's not for the first time then.
Hey, listen, you were my co-host. You were the man.
I was.
Well, you gotta stop saying you was. You know, it's no longer was. You gotta get back in the show. You gotta get back in the groove of things.
I know. I'm just shaking off the ring rust. Don't you worry.
Well, how many years are you gonna shake off the ring rust, mate? 2, 3 years? So we'll get you back on form around 2019, 2020, maybe.
I haven't peaked yet, so yeah, there's time yet.
Yeah, okay. I'll get Frank Warren to manage your career. What do you think?
What about you? Can I get you to promote me?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Okay.
But I promote this microphone and it's gone tits up. Oh,
yeah.
Listen. Hello. By the way, my microphone is the Logitech 92C. So it's a decent camera. By the way. Yeah. So this fight he had where he got knocked down a couple of times. James, you there? James? Oh dear. James Hernandez has got a couple of sound issues. James. Oh dear. James, are you there? James. Hello, James. James, are you there, son? James, are you there? James, are you there? I think we've lost James Hernandez. Ingram, talk to us. James is a lost cause. James! Oh dear. I think we've lost James Hernandez. Which is a shame. But anyway, we shall continue. Right, let's continue with the show. James! Okay, let's continue. Sure, email me the invite. I will join as soon as I'm finished. Cool. Breaking news. James is offline. James is offline and my camera's gone missing. Right. But anyway, let's get a move on. So SJS says I can't see what SJS is saying because my Google is not allowing me to scroll up the page. It's disastrous evening. Ingram, James has a lot in his hands. Forget him. He's not worth it. No, James is a legend. He was there in the boxing hangouts. We will bring him back. James is on dial-up. Good God. Don't say that to James. James is my buddy. Right. IQ Boxing Academy says, I was actually impressed with Ben's heart. He was in trouble but responded like a fighter. I'm going to ask you a question here. Straight up there, Xavier. Do you think that Conor Ben, I don't like using the word exposed, but did Conor Ben find his level? Or was it a case of Conor Ben had fought a guy, he was looking to bang a guy out and he was complacent? So what do you think it is? Do you think Conor Ben is a lot better than that? Or do you think Conor Ben has been well managed? Or Conor Ben was poorly managed and they thought he was better than this guy and then they kind of come unstuck? So from your opinion as a trainer, let me know your thoughts on that. I'd love to hear your opinion. James is stuck in 2014. Ingram, some of these USB mics need a good audio interface to bring up the punchy audio. I will do. I'll have to look into that. Definitely look into that. Conor has to win this fight, otherwise I don't know where he's going. That's a very good point. I don't know where Conor Benn's going if he loses this fight. Ben is crap. Oh dear. Xavier says he found himself in a situation that he had never been in and made some mistakes, but it was a good learning fight. Yeah. I think he's a good fighter. He just needs to develop, as he has not had an amateur experience. You see, when you look at Conor Benn and you look at Anthony Yarde, people don't like what Tunde Ajayi is doing with Anthony Yarde, but I love what he's doing. He is managing Anthony Yarde in the right way, in my opinion, simply because he's aware of Anthony Yarde's weaknesses. And he is maneuvering Anthony in a way where he's learning on the job, gaining experience. He's basically learning on the job. And I like the way they're doing it that way. For Conor Benn, I think the same thing should have happened. I don't think he should have had all the big lights and all the limelight. Yeah, he's Nigel Benn's son. That's great. But I don't know. Much like Chris Eubank Jr., I just think guys like that who need to have, they're more accomplished guys in boxing, in my opinion, than Conor Benn, that don't get the limelight that Conor Benn gets, which I think is only because of his father, just like Chris Eubank Jr. So Ben has to learn his craft, says DJ Slicks. People expecting too much of him because of his name. I agree with you there, Slicks. Ben reminded me of Nigel getting off the deck, coming out to win. Yeah, he did. But not against a guy like that, though. I mean, I remember the first fight that Ben, I think that fight may have been Conor Benn's Anthony Logan moment. I honestly thought draw in the first fight. Ben did well to come on strong in the end and get the knockdown. Otherwise, it would have been a potential L. I think the name Ben carries some favor. I agree with the judges. Yeah, I would stand with that. Mark Standers has overcome the got caught. He's got potential. Yeah. A fox chasing a rabbit for food. Rabbit is running for its life. Who will win? A fox or a rabbit? I'm not sure, Pekka Decker. You got me there. I agree. Tunde is doing the ring thing with Yarde, the right thing with Yarde. Ben needs time. He does need time. And I don't know if he's going to be afforded that time, which is a concern. Because if he goes out and boxes smart in this fight, doesn't go out guns blazing, people will say, oh, well, he was scared. Or people will say, well, he was weary. That ain't a bad thing, but people will always remember that knockdown. He's going to have to fight somebody better than that to get it right. So that's how I see that Conor Benn situation working out. Yes, next fight I want to talk about Liam Smith against Meningua. Truth be said, I thought Meningua was going to walk straight through Liam Smith. Liam Smith has shown heart, he's shown guts, shown determination, showed some boxing ability, lacked punching power. I would like to have seen what would happen if Liam Smith had some punching power. Liam Smith boxed really, really well against a guy who's heavy-handed. So I was really impressed with how Liam Smith could handle himself in that fight. Now, I don't know if Meningua, I think he's only 21 years old. So for people to say a 21-year-old was exposed, I think it's a bit harsh. I think it was a learning fight. I think the art of fighters learning their trade and having difficult moments in learning fights has now been dubbed by some as exposed. I don't see that as being exposed. I see it as a good learning fight. So I think Meningua has learned a lot about that fight. I think he may have gone into the fight believe in his own hype after the Ali fight, blowing Ali away because he was a much bigger guy. I think Liam Smith was more prepared for him. I don't think Meningel was prepared for Liam Smith in the same way. And he just thought to himself, I'm a big guy. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to blow him away faster than Canelo blew him away. And when you've got that sort of mindset, when you go into a fight, I think, you know, you're prepared that way. I'm going to blow him away. I'm going to blow him away. And then that guy starts having resistance. He starts hitting you back. It's very difficult to prepare for a war when you're not expecting one. So I think that Meningel, for me, got caught on the hop during the fight. I think he got caught on the hop. I think he didn't realize that Smith was going to be as resilient as he was. I don't think he expected Smith to be as good as he was. And I think Robert Alcazar said, his trainer said that those guys who've got, I was listening to the American commentary, he was basically saying that fighters who've got earmuffs means that they can't box. They've got poor boxing ability. This was a perfect example of a fighter being hyped up. Liam has been around, and they need to let these fighters develop. I know. I do agree with you there. A lot of these fighters are hyped up. I think a lot of these fighters are hyped up because of social media. I think half of these guys that have got these followings, and it's because of social media. I'm not saying Meningel can't fight. I think he's a good fighter. But, you know, whether he was exposed, which I think is a bit harsh to say, I would say more it was a case of a guy that was fighting against a more experienced fighter, and there was some defensive frailties. But you've got to give Liam Smith some credit for that as well. That's something I wanted to talk about. Beverly, if you're in the room, I'm going to send you a link to get you in. Actually, I might have to do a different show for that for you, Beverly, because I don't think this link's very good. So I'm going to try and get you back on. If you're still around, let me know, and I'll send you a link in 10 minutes, and I'll restart with a show with you in it. Conor Benn, people like Conor Benn, Eubank Jr. with rich, privileged life do not have the hunger for their life. That's interesting. That's a very interesting point you've made here, because you've got to ask yourself another question. And I've asked this question before. How many guys do you know whose dad has been a world champion and they've gone on to be a world champion and be better than their father? Chris Eubank Jr., as far senior, I made this point before and I'll say it again. Chris Eubank Sr. made a point about how he didn't want promoters to ruin his son's career. That's why he took his son's career on. He's done just as bad a job, or even worse, because he didn't even manage his son the way he was managed. Eubank didn't fight. He didn't fight for a British, Commonwealth and European title in only a handful of bouts. So Eubank fought a whole load of opponents. And his first big fight was against Nigel Benn. Big fight was against Nigel Benn. You know, so Eubank Sr. didn't manage Junior's career the way he managed his career. And I don't know if Junior was pushed into those big fights for money or for fame or for glory. I don't know. I just don't know. So that's one I'm not sure about. No problem. We'll be ready in 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Okay. I want to get you on the show, Beverly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this show off in a minute. I'm going to bring you in the show and start talking to you. What's that? My dinner, love. I think people need to judge Conor Benn on his own career. I don't watch him and focus on Nigel. I'm looking at Conor Benn's development. I agree with you there. Harley Benn fought the other night as well. You need to check out Harley Benn, Conor Benn, and there's another one as well. Harley Benn, Conor Benn. Oh, yeah. And then there's Eubank Jr. And then there's the other Eubank as well. So, yeah, they're all floating around. What I'm going to do, I'm going to stop this show here. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to bring Beverly in the room because I like to hear what Beverly's got to say for herself. It's always interesting. Right. Thank you all so much. Again, as always, don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave your comments. Apologies for earlier on. Sebastian, that's it. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave your comments. I'll be back in about 15 minutes, hopefully with a Nathaniel Wilson Eubank. Thank you. I don't like any of these bends. I'll be back in a jiffy with Beverly Rose from Boxing and Entertainment. Hopefully my sound will be better, and hopefully we'll get our picture better as well. I shall see you soon. Take care.